Hello guys, it's Lucas, the Transformers Skyfire/Prowl fan here, and today is the video you all been waiting for. You begged, you pleaded, you screamed, and finally it's time to give the voters on my community tab what they voted for. This is going to be the retrospective of that sneaky jet seeker that has the power of the null ray and wants to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon leader, the treacherous Starscream. Now, the original Starscream toy started out in the the Diaclone toy line under the name Jet Robo in 1983. It transformed into an F-15 Eagle jet fighter. Then, supported by Hasbro in 1984, to become one of the first year of the Transformers toy line. And he's very characterized as a ruthless Decepticon who has the power of the null ray, whose mission is to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon a leader. Starscream was also one of the main characters of the Transformers animated series. From the very beginning of the show and throughout its first 2 seasons, he was always there to dethrone Megatron and seize command for himself. Although when he talked, he was a cowardly in heart, and when it would meet with failure, he went to whimpering, groveling, and begging for mercy, even though Megatron never got rid of him for good. And in the Marvel Comics, Starscream would be killed off later into the series run, taken out by Omega Supreme. And also, as a simpler fade away of Starscream in 1986 is the Transformers the movie. G1 the movie. The film saw Starscream jettison the fatally wounded Megatron into space and finally claiming leadership. But Megatron had been renamed to Galvatron by the monster planet Unicron. And to take revenge on Starscream once and for all by reducing him to ashes. But because Starscream's toy was still being sold in 1986, he got to return in the 3rd season of the cartoon as a ghost and possessing other Cybertronians with that kind of power. And then he summoned Unicron and convinced him into bringing him back to life and regaining his body. Although his toy was eventually discontinued in 1987, Starscream would be killed off in the Marvel Comics again. It would seem like. 2003's Transformers Armada. This Starscream was this kind of design and color right here. But then he soon got a new color scheme which looked like Thundercracker. Then the next version of Starscream was introduced into 2004's Transformers Energon. And this Starscream looked very different compared to the Armada Starscream. Then the next version of Starscream in the very next version was introduced into Transformers Cybertron. And this Starscream looked very different than his design for Transformers Energon and Transformers Armada. Then the next Starscream was developed for the first live-action Transformers movie in 2007. This Starscream looked more monstrous and still having his normal jet mode, I believe, but this version of Starscream looked more monstrous. Animated series, this version of Starscream, the next version to be introduced would be Transformers Animated. This Starscream looked very different in design, but still same kind of deal, wanting to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon leader. Then the next version of Starscream would be introduced into 2010's Transformers Prime animated series. Still the same as usual, as wanting to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon leader. He does finally get a chance or something when he thought Megatron was dead and he wasn't. The next is Transformers Cyberverse animated series. This Starscream still acted the same, wanted to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon leader, and still having the power of the Null Ray. And then finally, the very last version of Starscream was introduced into 2020's Netflix series War for Cybertron trilogy. This Starscream had a Cybertronian Tetrajet mode more than his F-15 Eagle mode, and still wanting to dethrone Megatron and become Decepticon leader. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on that bell for notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace, y'all. Peace.